Hi, everybody. Lisa Shield here, and I am so excited to introduce you to my guest, Kristina Campbell. Kristina, hi.
Hey.
Great to have you here. So let me read a little bit about you. Kristina is a sexuality and intimacy coach, inspired to help women cultivate their authentic sexuality as a means to healing, wholeness, and connection with spirit. Kristina comes from a breadth of experience and has transformed her life and relationship through the work of deep sexual connection. Coming from a chaotic childhood that included toxic marriages, verbal abuse, body shaming, and sexual trauma, her path was fraught with negative experiences around sexuality, both direct and indirect. After years of searching for what would fill the void of pain and loss, her path kept coming back to sexual healing. Over years of therapy, spiritual work, sexual reclamation, and marital communication, Kristina has transformed her relationship to herself and her partner. Welcome, Kristina. It's so great to have you.
Oh, thank you so much. It's so fun to collaborate and be live.
Want to be live, right? So the way Kristina and I connected is because Kristina is doing an absolutely incredible live free summit. She has a series of interviews on sexuality and sexual healing that are going to air they started, how long ago, Kristina, did this start?
It started yesterday.
Oh, fantastic. That's wonderful. So what Kristina was saying is if you sign up now, then you can hear yesterday's interview today, so you'll catch the entire series, right?
Yes. And yesterday's interviews are really, I started it off with a bang. There's two really amazing interviews from yesterday. So if you do want to catch them, you can sign up and see those, you can listen to those. And also at the very end, there'll be 3 days where all the interviews are being replayed. So even if you sign up now, you'll have access.
And I'm the last one. I'm February 26th, right? So,
yes.
Yeah, so all the way to the end. They, of course, save the best for last.
Exactly.
So I just want to start. What is the name of the summit, Kristina?
Sexual Freedom for Women, how you can lose your inhibitions, deeply connect, and finally experience the pleasure you've always desired. And there are 30 amazing women working around the world around sexuality on so many different topics: body confidence, tantra, sexual anatomy, yoni mapping, the jade egg, so many, polyamory, relationship communication. I mean, Allison Armstrong's on there from understandingmen.com, and just so many different things. Yours, naked dating, trying to find that person that you want to deeply connect with. So there is so much. I've already gotten so many emails from audience members, like just so happy about just the 4 that have been released so far. So I'm just so happy.
Oh, fantastic. So can you tell me, like, maybe a few, 1, 2, 3 of your favorite interviews?
I'd have to say I had a really great interview with Louise Mazzanti. She aired yesterday, and we just talk all about how women's sexuality really is our power, that when we can fully be and understand our power as a woman and our femininity and be in it fully, learning how to receive and surrender, then, and to truly understand masculinity as well, because we have been sold a false story that men just want to take from you, and really they just want to experience the fully surrendered woman. And so how to really honor the masculine and honor the feminine and the true dance that happens there when we can understand each other. And Allison Armstrong talked a lot about that too. And there's just so many nuggets of wisdom in these interviews. It's like I had just these amazing aha moments in some of these interviews where I'm like, oh yes, if I'd only known that 10 years ago.
Wow. I love that. And I love what you were saying about the fully surrendered woman. That is so Beautiful. Can you tell me a little bit more about what that means?
For me in my journey, so much of it is there was a lot of trauma for me, and so I had a lot of guarding, a lot of armoring, a lot of walls up. And I talked about this a little bit in a podcast recently about how I didn't think I had any issues with sexuality. I was fine. I could be wild and sexual and I could be with whoever until I got into a relationship with my partner. And I started to really shut down when it came to true intimacy, when I was no longer performing and I realized that I wanted something deeper from sexuality and I didn't know how to access myself. I really thought that it was his job. It was his job to touch me in the right way that was going to make me experience whatever I was longing for. And really, it was about me taking personal responsibility for my own history because I had done a lot of therapy too, and I really had understood my trauma on a cognitive level. And this was really about embodying, allowing my body to move and sound the way that I wanted to, no longer worrying about what I looked like, what I sounded like, what he thought, what his experience was going to be. It's not that I don't care about his experience. Of course I do, but allowing myself to be fully present in the sexual experience and not perform. And it takes real communication if you're going to change that dynamic in your relationship, because when we first got together, we were really young, but I made a pact with myself. It's like I knew that this was the man I was going to be with for a long time, and I was not going to fake an orgasm. So I didn't do that with him. I wasn't performing on that level, but I was more just, I had so much body confidence issues, and I was so scared to like lean this way, and what do I look like? And I was just in my head the whole time. And so it's really a process of like, when you get pulled out of that, if you are struggling with it and you find yourself in your head again, slowing down and being able to say to your partner, like, I feel really disembodied right now, and I just need you to hold me for a second so I could just take some deep breaths and come back into my body and feel really safe with you. And then we can move on to like pleasuring each other again and really changing what we think sex is supposed to be. We're sold in our society this idea that, sex is all about the physical part of it. And it is, we do want pleasure, and we do, there are techniques, and we want our partner to be able to do those things and all that. But that sexuality is really about deep, deep connection. And if we are only doing like sex acts with each other, then we are not deeply connecting in a level that can transform us and transform our connection with our partner, our connection with ourself and with that person that we are sharing that vulnerable and intimate space with.
So let me ask you, when you talk about, just having sex acts or a deep connection, what do you do to create that deep connection and not just make it a sex act?
For me, it comes down to me being deeply connected to myself. Because when I'm deeply connected to myself and I'm not in my head and I'm really feeling my body and I'm breathing and I'm not tense, that's when I can be really aware of the energies that are happening with my partner, and I can be deeply connected to him. So then I can feel when something starts to go off for him, like maybe he's not so into what we're doing and he's not using his voice. I mean, the process of me emancipating my voice has also allowed him to do the same thing too, because there can be so much defensive-ness, of like telling somebody that you're not maybe into what they're doing right now, or let's just move on. I'm not experiencing the pleasure I did from that, like we did last week. It's just not working for me today. So, because oftentimes people think like, oh, this is the step, and then we do that, and then we do that. And everybody's like, okay, I've signed on to this and it's not really working for me right now, but I don't want to tell them it's not, because then that's going to, so you're not in the moment. You're not in the moment if you're going through all that. And so oftentimes I would have these emotional experiences, but I feel like I couldn't have that emotional experience. But now I allow myself to, and he knows that it's not personal. I'm not going through anything. There's just some tears coming up, and they're just gonna pass through me, and he can just hold that space. And when those when those things happen and those moments come about, and you know you can just hold space for each other, that creates such a deep connection. That's true intimacy. When you are fully vulnerable with somebody and they're not going to try to fix it or do anything, you don't need them to do anything. They just witness you in that completely raw space.
Sounds like it does take a certain level of confidence, right? Like you were saying, if you don't have body confidence, and if you don't feel safe communicating your needs or what's happening with your partner, then you can't relax into that and really. So it sounds like it really starts with you.
It does. It really does start with you. And that's just been my journey of taking personal responsibility for my own sexuality. And that's what allowed me to become truly authentic in my sexual expression and connection, and just like joy in my life. Like once that happened, now there's just a joy in my life from having experienced that and having access to that within myself. And it's not like a hidden thing, anymore. It's right there. And it is for anybody that's watching this and feels like they're experiencing any of those hangups that I was talking about. It is truly is just a choice. And in one of these interviews with Alison Armstrong, I was like blown away. It's like sometimes someone says something to you and you're like, whole new level of understanding. She said that the root of the word confidence is with faith. So that you're entering this sexual situation with faith that your partner loves you, with faith that they're attracted to you, with faith that they love your body, with faith that they can hold that space for you. Because what happened for me is that I had this underlying belief that he couldn't. And so if I was going to ask for anything, I was just too much. And he wasn't going to be able to really provide what I needed. But when I started to really trust that he could, and actually just, I don't want to use the word expectation, because sometimes that we can have a negative experience when we have an expectation and somebody doesn't rise to it, but that I really trusted that he could. I started to allow myself to trust that he could, and he did start to bring so much more than we'd ever had before, just playing the roles that our society tells us to play in a sexual situation.
Let me ask you, what do you do if your partner does take it personally, and if he feels that he's somehow inadequate because you're not happy? What do you do with that?
I highly recommend that you listen to Alison Armstrong's interview. It's so good. And we talk all about this. And she airs tomorrow on Valentine's Day on February 14th. And I do want to let you know that everybody in this summit has given a free gift, except Alison said that she wasn't going to. But on Valentine's Day only, you will be able to get access to a free training from her, which is what men really want from women. And that's where you're going to learn really deeply into what you're asking. So really what men need is to be admired, and they need to be told all the really things that they're really good at before you tell them that you want something else, and that you've really got to commit to your own getting your own needs met. And so you're going to go to them and you're going to say something like, it's really great when you do this, and it's really great when you do that, and I love this, and I've been really thinking that I want to explore XYZ. And then you explain to them what that's going to do for you. On the other side of that, I'm going to be so ecstatic, and this longing that I've had is going to be relieved, and I'm going to feel so much closer to you. And then they're like, yes, I want to feel that need for you, because men really do. The whole provider thing, it really is real. Men do want to provide for you. They want to meet your needs. What men want is to see you fully in ecstasy and in pleasure when you're talking, about sex. That's what men want. Men want you to be happy, So if you just tell them you're wrong and you're not doing it right, that hurts them. But if you tell them, I really love what you do, and I want to explore this other area. And, for me, it really started with, if you're not having communication in the bedroom and talking about things, you gotta ease into that, because you gotta find the communication where you're able to say, oh, a little bit less pressure, or can you move to the left, and they stop, you won't take it defensively if you just start to make that part of your sexual relationship where you have a little bit of communication during sex. So instead of just, what women do is we're so used to being uncomfortable and serving other people's needs. That's how we're taught to push ourselves down and make sure everybody else is taken care of. And so that comes up in sexual situation where maybe you're not comfortable, maybe penetration is hurting, whatever it is, and you're just like, oh, we'll just get through it really quickly and then it'll be over and I'll be fine. But they don't know. He doesn't know that you're uncomfortable. And so
Right.
he's going to keep doing it. And he doesn't want you to be uncomfortable. So just really finding your voice is going to not only bring you more pleasure, it's going to bring him more pleasure because you're having more pleasure, because that's what he really wants.
Yes, and it's finding the right way to communicate that. Like you said, saying all the things that you love and then saying, and it would be nice to try this, or, right? Yeah, that's lovely. Well, speaking of Valentine's Day, because you mentioned Alison Armstrong's gift, let's talk a little bit about Valentine's Day because that's coming up tomorrow. I'm curious, like, what are some things that people can do to kind of spice things up or do something fun or something, any tips or things that you could share with people about how to make things a little more spicy or
more spicy? Well,
a little surprise in the bedroom. Anything?
The spicing things up, it comes from confidence. So it comes from everything that we're just talking about. So spicing things up for you and for your partner really comes from you finding what makes you feel connected to yourself and what makes you feel confident sexually. And for me, that's like the right kind of music that's going to make me feel really juicy. It's putting on, I don't need some crazy lacy expensive teddy that's all sequensy or anything. I want what feels really good to be touched in. So maybe that's my like silky satiny robe, light some candles. And I really love sensual movement. I mean, for me, and of course, my husband isn't bummed about that. So I can just say, like, I just, want to just dance a little bit. And that allows me to get into my body and allow those natural undulations of the body. And that is like sexual energy. And so when you can cultivate that, that's how I spice up the bedroom if I want it to be a little bit on the more fun and exciting side. But also, toys. I'm not against like toys and vibrators, and I am a big fan of lubricant. So if these are all things that you've never brought into the bedroom, for whatever reason, because they've been taboo for you. I mean, they're not taboo for a lot of people, but some people, they still are. And so I would definitely recommend, finding a really good lubricant or getting a fun little toy. I mean, I can't imagine that there's that many men that would be against that, but I know they're out there.
Absolutely. And the thing that I do, which my husband loves, is I actually told him this a long time ago, based on the idea that men really do love the idea of having many different sexual partners. I decided to just be many different sexual partners. So my thing is, I decided that I would just channel different women. So I may walk into the bedroom one day and be Marilyn Monroe or Jennifer Lawrence or whomever. Like, I'll just be, Helen Mirren, whoever I decide I'm going to be that day. It's not like I say to him, hey, babe, you just had sex with Helen Mirren, which I don't think he'd mind, by the way. But I love that. Like, it makes, the truth is, and this is sort of playing off of what you just said, Kristina, it makes me feel different. It makes me feel sexy. If I'm channeling, Helen, and like I'm this older, sort of sexy, middle, woman, I bring that into my bedroom, and then I perform differently. So
I love that. That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's exactly what what I do too without putting it in those words. But like my husband's always like saying, he always comments on women that have like a streak of like green or pink in their hair or something. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
to get myself like a wig or something.
I wonder how my husband would respond. Maybe I'll just get a feather. Like one of my clients came in yesterday with like a big like beaded thing with a feather, and I was like, wow, that's really sexy. It was a guy, by the way, that was wearing it. It was hot. I was very
love that. I love that.
Yeah, it was really, really, really hot. Well, I don't want to keep you, and I know that you've got your husband and your kids and your in-laws waiting for you. But again, can you tell people how they can access this? I think we have a link that goes through mine, so we'll put my link up for everybody. Yeah. But you also, they can look up Kristina Campbell if they can't get through mine.
You can, if they can't get through your link, you can just go to sexualfreedomforwomen.com. So sexualfreedomforwomen.com, sign up, and all these amazing speakers have seriously wonderful gifts. I mean, like Luis Mazzanti is doing a Q&A session, a 2-hour Q&A session on the 17th, where you can go and get any of your questions about sexuality answered there. There's 4-week courses, there's ebooks, there's meditations, there's all sorts of really awesome gifts. So from each of these speakers, and there's some amazing conversations. So I'm so happy that you came on to be on the summit with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And let me ask you one last question. If women were going to buy one sex toy, just one, like a favorite, like that you think is like, I'm going to tell you mine, but it might be the same one. What is your favorite sex toy of all time? Do you have one?
I don't know that I have one. It's always like a trusty vibrator, but to tell you the truth, over the last couple of years, I've been letting go of my vibrator in order to experience really deeper levels of pleasure. I'm totally not against them. But I don't have a name of one, but I can tell you my favorite lube.
Okay. What's your favorite lube? I need new lube.
It's Pjur, so Pjur, Pjur, and it's a silicone lube, so it's not the best with other silicone toys. If you do have silicone toys and you want to put, a condom on them in order to use the silicone lube, but they're great. It's great with non-silicone toys, and it's just like so soft. It never gets sticky. It never gets tacky. You hardly ever have to reapply. It's like it feels like a moisturizer on your skin afterwards. I mean, absolutely love it. It's amazing.
Good tip. So I'm going to share my favorite toy. This actually was suggested to me by a client, and she had just gone through a breakup, and her best friend was like, come on, we're buying you this sex toy. And she saw the price, and her friend was like, I don't care, I'm getting you one. You may know this, but it's called the Womanizer. And
I've heard of it.
Oh my God. Oh my God. It is God's gift to women. And I'm sorry, I don't care if you're off vibrators. I don't care what your deal is.
Okay.
You have got to experience the Womanizer at least once in your life.
Oh my God. I heard it from another trusted source, and now it's from Lisa. I'm just going to have to go and get one.
I just have to say that it is the most amazing experience.
I love it.
I got to tell you, if there was ever a reason to be a woman, like, I don't care what you ever say about men or what men have or what men don't have. The Womanizer will make
Womanizer, man.
It will make
you need to do
so
a commercial
happy
for them.
Huh?
You need to do a commercial for them.
I swear to God, because for years and years and years, I had the Hitachi wand. Like, that was the end all be all. But I got to tell you something. I don't even know where my Hitachi wand is. I don't even know. I'm not kidding you.
Blowing that thing out.
I lost track of it. I do not know where it is. But man, if I lost my Womanizer, I don't know what to do. So
that's
through
amazing.
confessions.
I love that. My favorite sex toys are these.
I want to talk to you. I want feedback because I'm really serious. It is like, you may, purists, give it up because don't deny yourself.
Okay.
Do not deny yourself the penultimate experience that is out there.
I love it.
There's many, many, many orgasms and many ways of having pleasure, but I have to say this is peak. So
awesome. Awesome. That was du jour. We're on.
High five. All right, you guys, this has been so much. I mean, what's more fun to talk about than sex, right? Not so fun and sometimes a lot of fun.
Yes.
But Kristina, you are a gift to everybody. Your summit is, I can tell, is going to be amazing. I'm going to watch Allison's interview tomorrow. I'm going to sign up and watch it myself. I love her and I adore you. It is such a joy to be able to do this. You are amazing. And also, Kristina, do you want to tell everyone again how they can get in touch with you if you have any sexual healing work? Kristina is an amazing coach. She's an amazing woman. You can feel her vibe and her energy. She's so authentic. You can see that she's really done her work, and that's something you just can't fake. So it was also one of the reasons why I was so excited, Kristina, about having you on, is because, you know, for me, I'm looking for people who are the real deal, and you can see when, you know, there's that integration where somebody really has done their work and they're not just talking, they're walking the talk. So tell our audience, or tell my audience, where they can find you.
You can find me at Kristina at sexualfreedomforwomen.com. You can email me any of your questions and any of your concerns that's going on with you, and we can strike up a conversation.
Fantastic. And this is Lisa Shield from Emotionally Naked Dating and Dating Without Drama. And thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next time.
All right. Bye.
Bye.